Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I am JT O'Sullivan. Today, Dillon, Gabriel, preseason, week 2, Cleveland Browns. What the heck is going on in that quarterback room? Locked in, fired up. Let's get it going. Welcome to the QB School. Before we dive into the video, a quick reminder about the Quarterback School Patreon community. This group is the foundation, the bedrock of the channel. Not only is it a great, inexpensive way to support the channel, you get even more Quarterback School content. So you dig these videos, you will love the Quarterback School Patreon community. Hop over there, join, become a member. I appreciate your support. As for this video, let's get into it. All right, Dillon, Gabriel, preseason, week 2, 2025. We're going to get to empty. We are going to have a right side of the offensive line issue here. Right guard can't handle the, call it a fan. No chance to play quarterback like this. If we can see what the center calls here. Whatever the hell that sign is. It basically plays itself out like a 5-0. The right guard and right tackle are almost guaranteed going to be responsible for the two most dangerous over there. You can see the right guard just say, my bad. And just impossible to play quarterback like this. So you're trying to get an eval of, all right, you know, where should the ball go? What should we be doing? It looks like they're running what I would classify as double stick down here to the bottom. So stick, quick out, must outside release go. And then I would call this a choice. Now this might just be a true flat. And then it looks like it's paired with a hinge or a comeback. So you probably go 1 to 2 if you played up there. You go 1 to 2 or vice versa, depending on how you see the double stick down here to the bottom. There's no chance to do any of that. It doesn't matter. You can't say, oh man, well, he doesn't know what the hell he's looking up top. He doesn't have it. You know, if you were to play up top on time, you probably go no to the slot, yes to the outside. And again, from a pass pro world, the reason I spend so much time on this pass pro, and I don't usually do it on YouTube videos, but because it's so important to quarterback play. It's tethered to the quarterback performance. So once the center is going this way in 5-person pass protection, we've got these two for what is often the 3 most dangerous. So these 3. Now, most of the time, it will be a fan just like this out to the edge because these guys usually get paid a lot to rush the quarterback. Not always, though. So you've really got to have your eyes, if you're both these guys, you're working together. You're in concert here. You're protecting the A and the B gaps. So as soon as this happens, you've got to come down here and squeeze this door. We got to squeeze this door, and we got to have the widest guy be the free guy. Now this guy, I think he drops this time, so it makes it even worse. So it's just, you don't have a chance to play quarterback. You can be like, oh, he sucks. He should, well, why we draft him? Yeah, well, you stand in there and have somebody run through the A gap. You got no chance. Next one here, we got a beautiful job from Dillon Gabriel getting back to what I would classify as at least the number 3 on the backside. He's going to throw it to the sniffer, the tight end down here, the number 2 at the bottom on the basic. This is a pretty classic staple play. It's 3rd and long. He does a great job of hanging in the pocket, driving the ball, middle of the field on the basic cross. So we're looking to work that out traditionally to the field, to the slot. He doesn't like it. Reset in the pocket. Don't bail. Hang in there. Work. Find that kind of settle hunt in the middle of the field. So a little back and forth motion. See if we can get any sort of coverage indicators. Now, the thing about this is, and I know I have a video on this specific play, but this is, to me, is a must outside release go. Here's where the ball's trying to go usually on that out. Here's where you have some nuance here depending on who's on the line of scrimmage and who's not. It's harder when the tight end is off, but I prefer the tight end on burst release basic. Okay, when he's off, now the drive kind of has to go first or else he'll be waiting forever. So it's kind of, you know, whether you want to say alert 1, 2, 3, he gets back to the number 3. To me, that's really impressive for any quarterback, let alone a rookie manipulating the pocket. It's nice. I think the thing, you know, if I had anything to do with this quarterback room, and I would have all sorts of issues if I did, but if you're talking about this, it's 3rd and long, maybe, why didn't we throw this ball? And again, when you start talking about this guy and why we're not driving the ball down the field, I think that there can be some room for concern. Again, we get a first down. It's impressive. That is a pretty good opportunity to throw a go ball too. This guy's sitting, settling. Okay, do we have the out? Maybe you have the out too, but you're already off of it. You got to move. Not there to the drive. Yes to the basic. Outstanding. So again, we can be critical about why maybe we don't throw these other things, but I think you have to appreciate the outcome here because he gets through a full field read. This is right to left. 1, no. 2, no. And again, he could easily bail out of there. He could easily say, tuck it, run. He doesn't. He hangs in there, drives the ball. Hell yes. All right, next play here, a little play action. We're going to end up scrambling, trying to get some positive yards down here to the bottom. This is a few things for me. One, the decision to go, okay. And then right here, he thinks he's playing against, Idaho or something. Like this is not, this is not college football where you can get out and just out juke someone in space and be a better athlete. Everybody's a good athlete. So the decision to go here, we just saw him reset his feet and drive it down the field. Let's hope that's a slide. Okay, it's a danger slide, whatever it is. What maybe you would love to see here, and again, this is being very nitpicky, but this is the reality of it. To me here, this is a deep flag or pylon. So deep down the field. We're then going to get like this flood element of it. Okay, I don't necessarily think either of those are there. We're then going to get the switch release down here to the bottom. To me here, this crosser gets over here too flat and too like banana-y. And the space is just too tight where there's not enough separation. So what I would love to see is more of a, violent vertical movement, give him something, stair step him, and come across to have a little bit more space because this ball really should probably go there. And then if that's not there, you'd love to be able to get back to this and you don't want to roll this in here shallow. You want to get the depth that you're supposed to get and be sharp with these things because I think the corner actually falls down here. So again, if you were able to get up, survive this, not go and bail, kind of go with your eyes downfield, maybe you hit this. So better route, maybe you hit the crosser, eyes up as you move, maybe you hit the in. Regardless, you get out there, you better protect yourself because these dudes are rolling. So again, watch this switch release. See him just get kind of pushed into this space. So the spacing of this thing is all funky because the cross is over there so fast, shallow, and not open. Then let's say we're in the pocket. We don't like this. This in is coming open, but because we're already running as opposed to up, reset, throw. And again, maybe he sees it and just going across the grain of the field, he makes the decision not to throw it regardless. But hopefully you're going to be able to get more than just out there and kind of a nasty fall like you're just learning how to slide at T-ball here. So it's just one of those plays where, maybe moving, driving down the field is a bridge too far. But right here, just give us something more, protect yourself. That can't be what we're doing with our feet. Next one here, really impressive throw. Now, it's not the most, far throw distance-wise down the field, but we're going to hit 80 up top on a little stack release flat, quick out. It's a dot. It's right up on his face. That's good coverage. It's third and medium. You can't see him. This is outstanding. Again, not outstanding arm talent down the field, but excellent timing, precision, ball location, ball's out on time. Again, up on his face, easy to catch. It's pretty sweet. This is like a third down in the league. It really is because you can see here, they get to a little stack formation. They're condensed. Almost always going to be one of these guys going to go deeper on that kind of like deep out bench circus route. And then we're going to use that. We're going to get in the trail here, kind of set him up and then break out of it right at the sticks. And again, it's not bad coverage. We're right in the hip. It's just a better ball. This is just great offense beating good defense. And again, you love to see these contested catches, balls right on him. I mean, that is tight window throw. Again, he's throwing that with what? Lowercase a right there coming out of that thing. Third down. Let's go. Beautiful. It really is. It's nice. Now again, it's not 15 yards down the field, right? We're not going to start doing cartwheels because of it. But you do have to appreciate the situational ball, the accuracy, the timing, the precision, right up on him. Let's go. All right, next one here. I think this is 3rd and short. You can barely see a 3 down at the bottom of this screen. This to me is shock up top, and we just end up throwing a quick check down for a 1st down. Now, you're never going to be mad at a check down. I am going to just be, if they didn't want you to throw the inside fade, they wouldn't call it. That's how I think of it. And so when I say shock up top, we got a little window dressing with the kind of bump motion there. But if we're trying to get middle field closed and an inside fade versus tight press coverage here, this is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. But again, hard to argue 1st down, check down. Again, this is the part that's hard for people to get. Only the people in the room know if he made the right decision. And I would say he probably did make the right decision, but he wouldn't have been wrong throwing it to the inside fade either. You just got to hook it up. Right? I mean, he might not be wrong going one-on-one down here to the stop either. There's lots of options. I would just be curious of the process of how he decided, I'm looking down the field, I don't like anything, I'm going to throw the check down. Now, maybe he's just got that super vet vibe and he just knows where those checkdowns are in the preseason. I'm not mad at that either, because that's real life. But again, you got an opportunity to drive it down the field. You got a one-on-one to our left. He looks like he's working the right tight end almost. I don't know why you would be working the tight end there. That on stick in shock to me is a zone answer. Regardless, he doesn't like it. Check down, 1st down. Next one here, we're going to work the number 1 at the bottom of the screen. I guess we'll call this kind of stick-ish. It's there. It's an easy completion. Again, not necessarily an impressive completion down the field, but it's on time. It's there. He's not calling the plays. They dial it up. It looks like it's the first read. Put it on him. Great. And I think they run this a few times. So to me here, this, whatever you want to call that, it looks like it's paired with like a cross and an in. So you got to imagine you would just read this thing kind of 1, this combo down here, 2, 3. You could get, super fancy and go flat here, cross, 4 to make it seem like it's even more impressive. But just left to right, ball out quickly. It's open. See the flat defender, run with the flat, put it right on him. Ball's out quick, sudden, decisive, on time from within the pocket. Just like to see. So make the plays that are there to be made. Got to be able to make your layups. There it is. All right, next one here. Big play action shot. Looks like we're probably trying to get the number 2 on the crosser coming across. Not there. In's not there. Get it to your check down. Can't catch it for him. Again, I think the back maybe takes his eyes off it. Now, maybe he could throw a slightly more catchable ball. Maybe he throws a heater here. I don't think so. I think the back just takes his eye off it right at the last second. You can see him go kind of whoop, not looking that ball into his hands. Again, I'm not sure why the back is slowing down like he's going to turn in right into the defender either. So to me here, this is fine from Dillon Gabriel. It's not there. I think you could make the argument that he's not getting a lot of help down the field here either. Whatever this is, deep. Here's where I think the ball's trying to go, to this crosser. It's almost universally paired with an in. So the first thing here is this crosser. One-on-one man, over, violent up. Sell it. Make that guy uncomfortable, then break it across, and usually break it across flat. For this in on the backside, you got all this space out here. You got to threaten this corner. He's got to be terrified. He can't be just sitting on you as you come up and like lollygag into a banana rounded in. You've got to set him with, you got to make him think like, I am blowing by you, and then tight turn this thing. So again, this should be this to me, the way defensively here, cross, in, either one of these things should win based on leverage and coverage. Doesn't mean that they're going to. And again, for all I know, these cats will be finance bros in a week. But that's getting roboted, essentially doubled by the quote unquote lurker. This has got to win. I mean, we're stumbling, rumbling out of that thing, falling all over ourselves. Nasty cut, not there. We got to go find a completion. For some reason, he okey dokes us. and drops it. Okie doke, meaning just 20, make your gait even. So no, don't stop. So watch the running back, watch him kind of as he gets out here, his gait changes, his little pitter patter. Well, you got to run. Just keep running. Run. Damn. Next one here, a little RPO. This to me is supposed to be a draw with hitches. We get a flag down here to the bottom. Almost certainly ineligibles down the field. Again, I don't know what their process is quarterback-wise here, but this looks slow as hell from Dillon Gabriel. We've got to be able to get the ball out quickly. This is more, to me, on the quarterback than it is on the guys getting downfield. So if we're running call it a 6-person draw, so tight end type, 5 offensive linemen, they can take the 5 most dangerous. 4, here's 5 for the offensive line. Here's probably 6 for the tight end. Well, then this is the quarterbacks. And if we're running just hitches, okay, do I love throwing a hitch versus press here? Hell no. Do I like going this side, hitch, no. This side, hitch, yes. Hell no. Do I like doing it when there are guys going downfield? Come on, man. He's done too many RPOs. He's played too much college football to have this happen. This is bad ball. Just throw it. What are we looking at? And again, worst comes to worst, hand it off. The guy's 10 yards deep. He's not hitting this like in the C gap. I think it's multiple bad decisions, and it ends up with a penalty. So just kind of a bummer ball here from Gabriel. One of those things, again, you'd love to hear him talk through what he was thinking. But if you're just looking at his eyes, is he looking at this guy and then coming back and throwing a hitch the other way? I mean, these guys are way down the field. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, next one here, 2nd and forever. We're going to run kind of deep Hank here. On this channel, I'll often call this ocean or like deep hooks. This is a nice play from Gabriel. This is throwing someone open. I don't necessarily think he's there on time. I don't think of this as a great man beater either, but he definitely throws him open. So if we say the one over the ball hook is 1, watch him throw that guy open. So here's the eligible. Here's the defender. You want to throw him away from the near defender. So you don't just throw it at him, you throw it away from him so he can catch it, hopefully turn and go. So that part of it, really nice. Again, every team is going to read this a little different. Again, that's good coverage. The ball just goes underneath his arm. I mean, his arm is out there. That's like a clothesline. He catches the ball and his arm. I would say universally, this play is read whoever squeezes the over the ball. So this is 1. Whatever side the coverage that the defender comes from to squeeze that thing, then that makes the hook a little deeper hook with it, the number 2. So again, impressive throw. That's supposed to be a 2. Impressive throw to throw him open. Better throw probably is getting through the read. Again, if you can live with this kind of precision and do it all the time, do you, bro? But again, you can see the coverage coming from that side. It's getting covered from a defender from that side. That means that's where you go second. And again, it could just be, hindsight's 20/20 with the film and the clicker. So regardless, nice completion. He put it on him. They got it. Now they got a much more manageable 3rd down. Again, I don't know where his eyes are looking here at the snap. It looks like he's looking left. Maybe he's just looking people off right there. To me, at the top of your drop, you're not really looking people off anymore. Maybe they read it left to right. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He throws it away from the defender. It's a nice completion. On to the next. Another really impressive 3rd down throw. This time, swap release number 3 down here to the bottom. What looks like probably is a choice. Ends up being kind of quick out, flat-ish. It's a very nice throw again. Dillon Gabriel outside the numbers. 3rd down, not the farthest throw in the world. Okay, but this is a dot of a throw again on 3rd down, just like we saw earlier on this film. So again, whatever this is supposed to be, I'm used to calling this a swap release, the 2 and the 3 switch. As he comes up, it looks like he's running like a choice and comes out. I think it's paired with a hook over here. And so this is just a really well thrown ball. It's nice job working together, good relationship, him and the receiver. Third down, high level situation, execution. Again, that the thing I want you to really appreciate of the film is the accuracy. That's right up on his face, just like the last one we saw on third down was. Just a really nice job, outside the numbers, on time, within the rhythm and timing of the offense, of the design of the play. And that's what a really well thrown ball looks like. Next one here, we get into a little rhythm, little play action, flood up top, the number 2 on that sail. It's a nice route, get physical. Again, ball right up on his face, outstanding. So like the play call, like the design, a little bit tougher for a lefty to go over here to his right, get his hips all the way around. Nice job hanging in the pocket, ball's out on time, right where it's supposed to go. So again, what I'm calling some iteration of a flood here, deep flag or pylon. Here's where the ball goes on the sail. So you're going to sail this over. Sometimes you got to get a little physical at the top. If there's someone right here with you, you got to throw his ass by and come out of this thing. And then someone's going to be in the flat. Again, just a nice job manipulating the pocket, the timing, the execution, under center play action. Haven't seen him do a lot of this in his life, probably. Not there. You can see the number 2 up top get physical on that sail. Get the hell off me. Create some space. Ball's right up on his face. Nice, big, chunk, explosive play. It was really well done. And again, it's one of those things I think, if you're worried about maybe some height issues, how is he going to play under center? It's a nice job. And again, I'm not blind. Okay. I understand it's a really nice pocket. That's like 7-on-7-ish right there. Throwing a good separation preseason, but still, it's nice to see. Next one here, same concept we saw, this time just the other way. That little hitch or stick up top with the flat, the crossers coming at you. Just a nice job being able, again, you got to make your layups. You got to make your free throws. It's there. They keep calling it. Nice, easy job. He doesn't panic. He's got a blitzer right in his face. He trusts the pass pro. Raise up, put it on him. Again, a nice little simple way to create pure progression. So probably 1, these ones 1, 2. It's not there. Here comes that crosser or in. Here comes that backside. You can just see this thing kind of work right to left the way that they call it this time. So first one's there. Ball's out on time. We trust the pass pro. Good rhythm to it. Makes the wide receiver miss the first one. We're able to fall forward. Nice little gain. So just well done executing the play that's called. Okay, from a back pass pro standpoint, this is why you don't drop your head. And you drop your head right there. You get swum. Whoop. Luckily, the ball's out. Great effort from 89. Let's go. All right, next one here. This is a pick 6. This is a disaster on so many levels. Jesus, this is bad. So obviously, it's a bummer for Gabriel. You throw an interception anytime, you're going to be pissed. You give that kind of effort on the tackle, can't make it, tough. 86 at least keeps running effort-wise here if you're looking at positives for 86, because there aren't a lot. This is a bummer, and it's really a bummer on multiple levels. I think it's, I think you can blame Gabriel because this is a muddy ball. And even if, let's pretend like 86 sticks his hands out here, I still don't think he saw 24 when he goes to make that throw. I think 24 is blind to him right there. Whether he's throwing it to 86 or the over here, only he knows. 86, you can never pull your hands back. That's terrible football. Terrible football. I will also say 16 effort right here, terrible. You never know what's going to happen. Maybe he slips. Maybe he pitches it. You got to get back in the fight, dog. You can't just do that. That ain't it. 86. Look at 86. At least he does it. 82 trying. Okay, so there's all sorts of bad. Now, the sweet irony is, I think in last week's video for the Browns with Sanders, I talked about this exact thing happening. And to me, this is that sneak slide flat. So as we're coming out here, there's almost always someone in the flat, almost always someone in the over, and then from a condensed formation, there's almost always someone to the corner. Okay, now I think on Shador's touchdown pass, there was like, this guy ran like a corner, and I think the over throttled to keep the space, but the flat kind of drifted a little bit. And I said, damn, that corner almost got into that corner because of what the flat did. Well, this time, the flat loses his mind, gets all sorts of depth. The over sucks. The over barely gets over. It's more like a shallow. He gets pushed down from a DB. And so now this spacing is a disaster. All that being said, if you're the quarterback, you can't throw it into a disaster. Just because, two guys make poor routes doesn't allow you to make it an even bigger disaster by throwing a pick. So again, the flat here has to maintain the flat integrity. It's got to get flat. He can't be getting pushed like this. Look at the over. It's fucking 5 yards down the field. Where's the ball? The ball's on the 31. Where's he going? Why? He's a 6 yard over. You got to be way deeper back here to keep the spacing of this thing, the integrity of the play. It's just, it's bad ball, and it's compounded by a poor, muddy decision and then some effort concerns at the end. Fuck. I mean, just, again, I'm not convinced he saw a 24 at all. I don't know who he's throwing it to. Because if he's throwing it to 86, at least it's a catchable ball. And again, 86, you got to put your hands up here. There is no situation in football where you pull your hands back like that and let somebody else get the catch. That's crazy talk to me. Crazy talk. And again, at least we got a couple of the big guys trying for a little bit. Good effort, but man, what a disaster of a play. Again, from behind, you can see here, just the spacing of the flat and the over makes this thing a dumpster fire. And then Gabriel, throwing this muddy play doesn't help either. And I think he's throwing it to 86, and 86 just gets the old alligator arm, so I don't know what the hell he's doing. Jesus, what a disaster of a play. Good God. You can't get out there for the next play fast enough after something like that. Halftime, you dig the channel and you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications. I sincerely appreciate you subscribing to the channel. It does mean a lot to me, so thank you for taking the time and doing it. Again, the Quarterback School Patreon community, you know about it. Join, become a member, get even more Quarterback School content. We also have Quarterback School courses. You can find all the courses over at theqbschool.com, the website for the channel. Get over there, check them out, enroll. I appreciate your support. If you dig the channel, you'll love the courses. Finally, make sure to follow me across all the social media outlets. I certainly appreciate your support. As for this video, let's get back to it. All right, next one here, we've got a little play action screen up top. This is one of those throws where, again, you expect a guy to make. I'm not saying it's the easiest throw in the world, but it's definitely easier than this execution. Could he catch it? Sure. Would you be surprised if a back playing in a preseason game made this kind of catch? I probably would. So we can make this a much easier throw. You got to get it up and over with a little bit more touch. One-hander, Odell screen in the backfield is going to be tough for most backs. Again, I think the thing you could probably do here to give yourself a little bit of an easier throw is post-fake. You set the pocket, just retreat a little bit. So when you set the pocket right there, see how he kind of throws the screen from the launch point? What I'm saying here is, depending on what the technique here is of the left tackle, they're trying to slingshot by here. Maybe you don't want to get a crazy amount of depth. But if you can buy just a little bit of time to be able to not make this such an up and over throw, so either get depth, bail, or climb up in the pocket and shovel. Like there are just easier ways to do this as opposed to statue, throw through somebody. Now it's high. We don't put enough touch on it, and we miss probably a decent sized chunk gain over here on a 1st and 10. So it's just one of those things where, again, trying to get an easy completion, post pick 6, need something easy. Instead, we come out here and we showcase where we just don't quite have that club developed yet. Next one here, 3rd and shortish. We're going to run mesh railroad up top. So the back on that rail up top, to the mesh down here. The number 1 coming across the field is going to get the ball. Just a really well executed, again, not the most difficult throw in the world. It's not. I get it. I understand everybody knows how to play this play, and the Eagles don't do a great job of sorting it out with all their underneath defenders. But nice throw right up on him. Ends up to some yak, a little punt return left there after that. So post motion here, this play is almost universally always run kind of the same way. So we're trying to get the ball to the backfield. So this idea of being, here's the rail. It's almost always paired with what is, I'm used to calling 2 glorified picks here. So it doesn't matter which of these guys goes over, but one of them is over the ball. The other one is running that traditional mesh. It's paired with that mesh coming from this side of the field. And so it's almost always 1 to 2, and then 3 over the ball. And, the mesh operates as like a glorified check down also versus zone. But this is just a really nice job of, they can't quite sort out the mesh here defensively. We don't have the rail. So no to the back right away. Right, you see 54 does or 54 does a good job of sorting through that thing with those. Here are the 2 moving picks. So no to the back, yes to the mesh. And you can see how quickly Dillon does it. 1, 2, 3, no. Mesh, yes. Big chunk, nice yak because the accurate throw. Just really well done. Again, not the most difficult play in the world. Okay, we're not going to overreact and say we're on the path to the Hall of Fame because we got a couple underneath 3rd down throws, but you do have to acknowledge, nice job operating the offense. Next one here, little RPO. This looks like we are a little outnumbered to the open side, the weak side down here to the bottom. We're just raise up, throw the bubble. Again, not the most impressive throw in the world. Okay, we got showing every completion here, every attempt. So balls at or near the line of scrimmage. Again, I think it's a good decision. This to me is weak side inside zone. And so when that safety comes down, we don't really have anybody. We don't necessarily want to run into the pressure here. So into this thing, and just raise up, throw the little bubble down here. We've got 1 on 2 down here to the bottom. It's a good enough. It's better than running into the pressure. So nice decision here. Good job getting the ball out quickly. Handoff of a throw. There it is. Basically a tackling drill down here outside the numbers. 2 on 1 blocking wise. But again, Andy's left-handed, so it's a little bit easier to this side. Catch, throw, ball out, grip it, rip it, no laces. Live to fight another day. Next one here, another play action crosser. I think this is a pretty decent throw. I think it's just good coverage. Again, it's quarterback school, but you got to get into the weeds with the route running sometimes because, again, sometimes it looks like guys just don't know what the hell they're doing here to help them create space for themselves. It's good coverage. Let me be really clear about that to start. Let's go through and show the coverage. He's right in his hip on that crosser coming from top to bottom. Now, what I'm saying here is universally, if this, say this is up and back to the corner, and then here's what I'm calling a crosser. So to me here, this crosser versus man coverage, you want to come up, you want to set this thing, give him something vertical, and then break it flat across and separate at some point. What you don't want to do is what happens here. This to me is just a banana. This is just, hey, come run with me in the park. This will be a nice, easy day. We'll go side by side, listen to the same AirPods. This is not running away from anyone. So again, I couldn't tell you who the hell that is. I don't care. I know it's the preseason, but I know that route ain't it. So yeah, would it help if we had some dudes out there that could separate? Sure. You still got to make the decision to throw it or not. At a minimum, I would want this to be flatter. See him kind of gaining ground here. You don't really want to ever do that versus man coverage because it allows the guy to undercut you. So again, the accuracy part of the ball, it's fine. It's good. It's a poor route. It's better defensive coverage. It gets undercut. The ball's right there, right? That's a perfectly thrown ball. We just don't give ourselves a chance there route-wise. Next one here, we're going to throw a quick little wide or swing down here to the back. Again, not my favorite play. I think of this as like old school Phillip Rivers. Where do you go to school? North Carolina State. Run snag 22 times in a row. Again, not going to sit here and tell you I know what the read is here. This looks like what I would classify as mirrored concepts with a sit over the ball. So again, whatever this is, with something in the flat quickly. So if you're up, it's a flat. If you're in the backfield, it's a swinger or wide. Get a completion, I guess. Again, you know, I'm not going to sit here and evaluate their philosophy in quick game or drop back and intermediate stuff, but it's a tough way to make a living down the field doing it like that. Regardless, it's a nice job getting a completion. Again, as you start to see all the throws together, you can kind of start to see a pattern here as far as things at or near the line of scrimmage for a lot of these completions. Next one here, this is a tough sack. Okay, this is a tough sack for a few different levels. We got shock down here to the bottom. We got a double move, kind of like hitch twirl up top. You know, we got the left tackle just kind of getting run by here as well with speed. Again, I can't sit here and tell you that I know where the ball should go. I can tell you that I think universally hitch, some iteration of stick. Again, I prefer inside fade to go outside. You know, if he gets caught inside, I think it's much harder completion. You get one-on-one up top with a double move. You know, even though it's kind of that twirly bird one where he wheels outside, I still think it's pretty good. It doesn't even look like he's looking over there. So again, you know, I don't know what the read is here. I can tell you that it looks like he gets at least 2 or 3 hitches here, and he's hung up on probably the inside fade. So once he sees him go inside here, you got to get off of that. So either back to the check down, or again, hindsight, one-on-one up top, you'd probably love to take that double move. I'm not sure you got enough time to throw that double move regardless, but we get an opportunity here for what, 2, 3, 4 hitches? 1, 2, 3. We're hanging on that just too long. Next one here, another turnover. Now, normally I don't put, you know, ball handling, handoffs, fumbles on any videos because rarely you don't know whose fault it is for the most part. And again, I'm no crunch expert here, but I will tell you that the path of the back suggests to me a wider path for the quarterback. And what I mean by that is, again, maybe the back is wrong. Okay, I don't know how they teach their crunch. Maybe the crunch is supposed to be, you know, him aiming at the outside foot of the guard. But it looks like he's going pretty wide here. If you're going that wide, the quarterback, you got to come out of this thing hard and flat and deep. You want to get this thing as deep as possible to the back so he has time to make a cut, make a move. Especially in this, you know, crunch world where you're trapping, whamming, you got all these moving parts up front. It's a kind of a boutique over, you know, a crystal clear over front is how you most often see it run. But this to me looks like Dillon comes vertical out of the center. And again, you've got to get some depth because you've got the trap guard coming your way. So you can't go right down the side, right down the line of scrimmage, but you got to get depth as you extend and hand this thing off. See him kind of redirect. So he goes vertical and then redirects wide. And then it looks like we hit him in the elbow. So again, I don't know what, you know, somebody on the beat just needs to ask, hey, what's the landmark for the back on this? Because the path that he's taking wide like that, to me, makes it seem like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Either the quarterback or the back is wrong. Again, I doubt it would be right here. I doubt the path would be, you know, narrower because you need this wham block. So the run has to happen out here. It's a bummer. And again, ball on the ground, pick 6, ball. I mean, look at that handoff. Jesus. Disaster. Next one here, a little PSO. Last week we saw Shador, I think, threw the slant with this play a few times, or maybe I wanted him to throw the slant. I don't really remember. Regardless, I think this is a fine read. This week they're running it with quick out. You know, Dillon's not down here blocking. He's not getting split by the 1 and the 2. So however they're reading this, so last week I think they ran it with a slant and either hit it or I thought they had it a few times. This week they're running it with a quick out. Okay, if you don't like it for whatever reason, you've got this fast form motion, tear, gash motion, and you've got these 3 blocking the 3 most dangerous. You know, you can't have these 3 split at the 1 and the 2 by the nickel or the star. It's unacceptable. Just not good enough down here. Whoop, whoop. God damn, somebody's going to get hurt. But again, pattern, recognition, completions, line of scrimmage. Now this time it's for a damn TFL. That might even be backwards, a handoff. Okay, but that's certainly not going to work as far as a perimeter level of execution. Okay, next one here. We're going to come out, rip that wrap in. This is a thing of beauty. I love a good in. This one's not right down the hash, but it's just about down the hash. This is also as fast as 89 looks all day here. But this is a beautiful job of seeing that hook defender kind of hang low, not get any depth at the second level. We're able to rip it through. Again, it's one of those things, as you watch more and more NFL film, you see so many of these ins thrown back on this back, not necessarily the backside, but the short condensed split. Get in here, wrap that thing in there, almost always tethered to a pivot or a gather right here. And really, you're trying to get these second level players to drive this thing. And the perfect alley to have this thing happen is usually when the hook curl defender drives it, you rip it right by his ear, right down the hash. Just a really nice job. Again, it's not great versus quarters, so you got to be a little nervous when you see quarters like this, but as soon as you get an invert, post snap, right off that curl hook defender, I mean, look at the middle of the field. There's no one even standing between the hashes, close to the hashes. Great job seeing it, ripping it, showcasing a little bit of juice there in the legs, turns into a nice little punt return left. So just a really well done, well executed play. You see across the league, a lot of quarterbacks do it. That's excellent. Wide open, preseason open in the middle of the field. Make it hurt. Excellent. Next one here. This is a little double post at the bottom with a cross up top. This to me is a poor decision, a poor ball, a rough rep. It's also a poor post down here by the number 1. I think, again, it's easy, hindsight wise, but I think it's good pocket movement. He just kind of forces this thing to the crosser and really just doesn't see that play side safety. So for me here's the double post element of it. And I really want to talk about the decision here on this post right there. Here it's tethered with that double post cross. We just don't see this play side safety. He's just driving this thing. He's going to take it if it's a better throw. So what I would prefer here, what you would love to see in a perfect world is as he comes out on this post, first of all, your eyes are on that play side safety. So if he hesitates at all, you got a great opportunity for this post. So the first post is going to be eaten up by the backside safety. Then this number 1 here, if he can maintain, look at the leverage. He's slightly outside and set that thing usually to the near upright, like a real skinny, big over-the-top post. He's got a chance. But he kind of does his own thing here and kind of weaves in and out to no man's land. And that puts no threat on that safety. So now he can sit there for the crosser. So first, let's watch that post down here to the bottom. First of all, that's not necessarily my stem where you like banana off. That doesn't look like you're running a vertical. And then watch this kind of post move. I mean, what are we doing? You got to set it high and just run. Because that allows, this like okie doke at the top allows this safety to just sit there. And again, as you move in the pocket, maybe you take off and run. Maybe you throw it to the flat as an outlet or a check down. But we don't want to be throwing these contested balls late down the middle of the field. This is really fortunate. This easily could be a pick. So from the back here, we'll be able to see him move around, buy some time, drive the ball, muddy eyes down, drive it, bummer, on to the next. Next one here, we get a little fortunate. This is kind of nothing's there. We go to extend. It looks like we're trying to get a double move down here to the bottom. We end up getting a penalty. This to me is a throwaway. The wide receiver is probably blocking already when he decides to engage the DB for Dillon to run. But it's not there. Make a good decision. Don't throw it up. Get out on the edge, create. I'm not sure you're going to get that call very often, but it works right here. So again, double move by the number 1 at the bottom. Up, sluggo, not there. Okay, come down to the number 2, not there. Got to go create. Backside wrap in, not there. Get out, and again, you can see the number 2 at the bottom of the screen. I think it's 80. He's blocking right there like he expects Dillon to run. Dillon just throws it at his feet, and they get a pass interference, I think. Next one here. This completion to the number 3, the tight end coming across the field. This is one of those plays where I'm not familiar with it. I'm not going to sit here and speak to any sort of authority about where this thing should be or how this thing should be played. I will tell you that this looks like a danger ball to me. You know, it looks like he's knocked up a little bit there, put our guy in harm's way. I will say, you know, this looks like a deeper triple slant. I think of triple slant as more like dart 1-step and then 3-step slant. This looks deeper with the yellow. That deeper allows this weak safety, this poach safety, to kind of sit here. And if he feels like he doesn't have a vertical threat by the number 2, so say this guy comes up and runs whatever he's running here, I think he runs like a little juke, you know, that allows him to sit and turn onto this. And then this thing has to happen really fast right off the break. So I'm not saying it's not there. I'm just saying it looks dangerous to me. I don't know what would make it less dangerous. Again, he's certainly there. It's open, but he's going to get smacked. And again, if it wasn't there, you probably got the slot up top coming across on the juke or the jerk. But it's a completion. Again, I hate seeing guys get hit like this when, you know, even if it's low per se or in the target area, it's still a danger shot to me and not something you want on your film if you're a quarterback. Next one here, this is double stick to the bottom. It's third and kind of medium long here. You know, I don't think you really have a chance with double stick. To be honest with you, I don't love this play call at all unless you're going to go for it on 4th down. But he does a good job saying, no, 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 check down, yes. We've seen him get to the check down fast a couple times here. I think this is a good, clean decision. Again, quick out by the number 2, stick by the number 3. Nothing's really there. I mean, there's nothing there. Check down. He does it quickly. You get 4th and manageable. Maybe you go for it, maybe you don't. You know, regardless, I think all you can do quarterback-wise here is play the play that's called. So no, no, check down, yes, completion. Okay, 4th down, they decide. So that is a wrap. Dillon Gabriel, preseason, week 2, the Browns. What are they doing at the quarterback position? Who knows? You know, I thought there were some nice throws. I thought he showed some accuracy on many of the throws. You know, the 3rd down situational ball, really precise with the ball location. But, you know, there were a number of plays where you're just like, man, you know, is it Dillon Gabriel? Is it the execution of the perimeter? Is it the pass pro? You know, is it, you know, route running? Is it separation? You start making so many excuses and you start feeling like, man, that was not that great of a performance. And so, you know, put the ball on the ground, pick 6, no matter what you do, those are going to kind of leave some really bad taste in your mouth. I think, you know, it's just hard to make sense. It really is. There's no way you can watch that and be like, oh yeah, we saw a bunch to know that this for sure is going to work with Dillon Gabriel right away. You know, you need to see some more throws down the field. You need to see some throws down the field. You need to see a little bit more explosiveness other than, you know, a wrap in wide open type of thing. I personally want to see, you know, more of that traditional drive the ball down the field outside the numbers, you know, play with a little bit of anticipation, those types of things, get through reads down the field, not just, you know, not there, check down, not there, check down, those types of things, and the precision at like the underneath type throws. I want to see the precision in the intermediate with the deep ball, those types of things that, you know, whether he didn't get an opportunity or we can't do with the dudes that are out there with him, you know, one way or another, they're going to have to sort out that position group. They really are. I don't think there's an easy answer, which probably is not a great sign regardless. So thanks so much for hanging to the end. I will see you next time. Have a good one.